Daniel Laplante was just 17 years old in 1987 when he brutally murdered a Townsend, Massachusetts pregnant woman named Priscilla Gustafson and her 2 children. Adding to this horror was the shocking incident from the year before of Laplante terrorizing another family by living within the walls of their home. Elaine and David Moore had baby Daniel on May 15, 1970 in Townsend, Massachusetts. Unfortunately, during Daniel's childhood, he was sexually and psychologically abused by many adults in his life, with his father being responsible for the majority of the abuse. He also struggled with school. He was diagnosed with dyslexia and his classmates called him the creepy weird kid. Daniel's home environment was not some pleasant place either. His family's house and surrounding grounds were reportedly a mass of junk and old cars. He attended St. Bernard's High School in Fitchburg, Massachusetts, where he was described by students and faculty as a loner and not particularly friendly. As he got older, he was referred to a psychiatrist due to his abnormal behavior, his appearance, and his lack of hygiene. Diagnosed with hyperactivity disorder by the psychiatrist who allegedly sexually abused him, Laplante became a neighborhood thief by age 15. He broke into Townsend homes during the evenings, stole occupants' valuables, and then he graduated to mind games. Laplante began leaving things behind and moving things around in his neighbors' houses to scare them. In 1986, his mind games turned to pure terror when he became obsessed with a 15-year-old girl named Tina Bowen. Daniel and Tina attended the same school, and he had taken her out on a few dates over the Easter break. But when Tina returned to school, some students had told her Daniel was facing rape charges, and according to her father, Frank, Daniel got what he had coming to him, or so he thought. Over the course of several weeks in late fall 1986, Daniel gained entry into Tina's home, which was located at 93 Lawrence Street in Pepperell, near Townsend. From a small crawl space he found at the back of the home, he initiated psychological torment on the family. After watching Tina and her sister try to contact their recently deceased mother on a Ouija board, Daniel began impersonating a ghost. TV channels were changed, items were rearranged, milk mysteriously consumed. He even scribbled disturbing messages like "marry me" and "I'm in your room, come and find me" on the walls in mayonnaise and ketchup. A knife was also found pinning a family photograph to the wall. Though Frank Bowen believed his daughters were messing with each other, he soon learned the truth was far worse. On December 8, 1986, the girls returned home to find someone had used their toilet. After a search by Frank, Daniel was discovered in a wardrobe, face painted, wearing a Native American style jacket and a ninja mask, while holding a hatchet. Laplante then hustled everyone into a bedroom before disappearing somewhere in the house. Tina escaped through a window and contacted the police, who found Daniel 2 days later in the cellar of the house. Hiding in a triangular space in a corner, bounded on 2 sides by the concrete foundation and inner wall, he had clearly been living there for weeks. Following his arrest at the Bowen home, Daniel was held in a juvenile facility until October 1987, when his mother remortgaged her house, paying his $10,000 bail. 2 months later, he committed his worst crime yet. While awaiting trial for terrorizing the Bowens, Daniel moved home and continued his daytime burglary spree. On October 14, 1987, he stole 2 .22 caliber firearms from a neighboring house. On November 16, 1987, he burglarized the home of the Gustafson family, which included pregnant nursery school teacher Priscilla Gustafson, her husband Andrew, and their 2 children, 5-year-old William and 7-year-old Abigail. But this wouldn't be the last time he broke into their home. On December 1st, 1987, Daniel walked through the woods separating his house from the Gustafsons, armed with a .22 firearm. He later claimed he didn't expect Priscilla and her children to come home. And what happened next is every family's worst nightmare. According to retired Pepperell Lieutenant Thomas Lance, Daniel considered jumping out of the window and escaping. Instead, he confronted Priscilla with the gun and led her and her son to the bedroom, putting William in the closet and tying Priscilla to the bed using a makeshift ligature and gagging her with one of his socks. After raping Priscilla, he fired his weapon and hit her in the head twice. He then took William into the bathroom and drowned him. As he was leaving, he encountered little Abigail, who had returned home on the school bus. He lured Abigail into another bathroom where he drowned her as well. Then Daniel simply returned home and attended his niece's birthday party that evening, like nothing ever happened. Meanwhile, Andrew Gustafson had been calling his wife all afternoon, returning to an eerily quiet house with no lights on. Gustafson feared the worst. He first found his wife dead, lying face down on the bedspread. Then he fled the house and called the police. He later reported that he refused to look for the children because, quote, "I was afraid I would find them dead," unquote. According to courtroom documents, Daniel was easily implicated using forensic evidence. Police even found the shirt and gloves he wore to drown the children in the woods behind the Gustafsons' house, still wet. With the scent of the shirt, dogs tracked through the woods to within 3 to 4 feet of Daniel's home. The evening after the Gustafsons murders, he was interrogated. However, lacking enough evidence to arrest him there, police planned to return the following day, but Daniel fled and a massive manhunt ensued. After another burglary spree in Pepperell, he was found hiding in a dumpster and arrested the evening of December 3rd, 1987. Daniel Laplante went on trial for the Gustafson murders in October 1988, and a jury found him guilty of murder. He was convicted on 3 life sentences. Chillingly, that wasn't the end of his story though. He appealed for a reduced sentence in 2017, but the judge found that he wasn't remorseful at all for his crimes. Instead, the judge affirmed Laplante's sentence of 3 consecutive terms of life imprisonment. He will not be up for parole for another 45 years. This case has been solved.